and welcome. I will today tell you about the GitLab frontend for the last, the story of the GitLab frontend for the last 2.5 years, and then VueJS at GitLab. Okay, I can do that anyways. So my name is Fatih Acet. I'm a senior front-end engineer at GitLab and also Google web developer expert in web technologies, Google developer expert, and you can find me on social media with the Fatih Acet handle. So let's talk about what is GitLab. GitLab is an open source software development tool which provides a single application for every stage of your DevOps lifecycle. I will tell you more about this sentence in the next presentation, in the next slides. GitLab's goal to make your software development faster, so you can spend more time on your code instead of working on the configuration. So again, GitLab is a single application for complete DevOps lifecycle. So we divided this DevOps lifecycle into different categories like manage, plan, create, verify, and so on. For example, for manage, we have cycle analytics, DevOps score. For plan, we have the issue tracker, issue boards. And for create, we have these version control systems, web IDE, and stuff like that. So we try to provide the best tools to be complete to be a tool for your complete DevOps lifecycle. So this is the repository view where you can see your files and folders and your project. And this is the issue boards where you can see all the issues and do the planning on that. It's pretty much the same with Trello boards where you can drag and drop the issues across the boards. This is the merge request view where you can review the code and ask for changes on that. And then when you're OK with that, you can approve the merge request and merge it. This is the pipelines. After you merge your code, before you merge your code, you will see the pipeline, you will run the test, and you will see the results here. Let's talk about a little bit the company. As I mentioned that I'm working remotely because GitLab is a remote-only company with almost 400 team members from 48 countries. And it will look like on the map. And then, yeah, again, we don't have any office locations anywhere in the world, so it's a remote-only company. We have 20 front-end engineers right now in our team, and we are hiring more. All GitLab and the front-end team is still growing. And this is the handbook where we define how we run the company, and it's a really definitive guide. If you print it, it will be something like 400 pages. And it looks something like this. So we have general rules, people operations, engineering functions like the backend, front-end, infrastructure, DevOps, and marketing and sales, finance, product. And also we have legal stuff written down in these documents. For example, if you like to know about the front-end procedures or front-end workflow or the backend workflow of GitLab, you can find pretty much everything in this document, which is really nice. I encourage you to take a look at that. So let's talk about the GitLab frontend. I joined the GitLab in May 2016, and GitLab is actually a Ruby on Rails application. And at that time, GitLab frontend was using asset pipeline, Rails asset pipeline, which is a tool comes with Ruby on Rails. It helps you to bundle your packages and manage your front-end dependencies and something like that. It actually works, but up to some point. And if your application grows, you want to replace it with a new front-end technologies. And we had jQuery-based code base. We still have some portions. We rewrite most of the GitLab with VueJS. I will talk about that. But we still have jQuery code base, but it was fully jQuery-based code base at that time. And it was looking something like this. We, for example, find the form on the page and then find the error and remove that and click that button, find this DOM element and stuff like that and do this. So that was not the way we like it. And then we also were using the Haml templates. and it was looking something like this. All the backend logic, all the front-end logic was included in these HAML templates, and the HAML template is the template rendered in server, and server delivers the rendered HTML to client, to browser. And then we have these inline JavaScript in HAML templates, and it was looking something like this. At line 8, there is a JavaScript tag, which line 9, 10, and 11 was creating some simple JavaScript code into the page, and this was including with this script tag, which we don't like. And then we had CoffeeScript at that time, and the first thing we did is June 2016, we replaced CoffeeScript with ES6. The reason is CoffeeScript was really popular before that time, and it is because it is hard to find someone who will contribute with, who is comfortable with CoffeeScript, and they will contribute to an open source project. And people were basically preferring to contribute with JavaScript ES6. And then 2 years ago, we ES6 converted everything into ES6 and merged it. And then we had the ES6 code base. And then we added ESLint to our code base. It's July 2016. After that point, we started to make our front end even better. Like we add these well-known front end features in every release and step by step. So that made the front end, GitLab front end is even better. And then November 2016, we replaced Rails asset pipeline with Webpack. Now you can see that Webpack is much more capable of doing the front end stuff. Also, it's a really solid tool. It's the way to do the front end tooling properly. So we replaced Rails asset pipeline, and also we replaced the Teaspoon, which is the test runner kind of a thing, comes with Ruby on Rails application, and we replace it with Karma. And then we switched to Yarn, February 2017. The reason is back at that time, NPM does not have these package JSON, the lock mechanism, package lock JSON. And then we replace it with Yarn. And then in August 2018, we introduced add VueJS into our code base. And then a few months later, Vue version 2 announced. And then we migrated to version 2. And now we use Vue version 2. I'm going to tell you why we did choose VueJS instead of the other tools, other libraries. Because, as I mentioned, that Webpack and NPM was not a part of our front-end stack. And VueJS was a drop-in solution. You just include the vue.min.js into your project and start working on that. You can, there is literally no tooling needed to start Vue components and start working with Vue. This was a really the biggest advantage of choosing Vue. And yeah, we don't have time to rewrite because we are in a huge competition. We have to make sure that we are shipping the new quality features, so we cannot sit down and spend a few months or maybe even more to rewrite stuff. So we don't have time to rewrite or do some configuration changes, the big changes at a time. So this was an incremental change for us. And the other thing is Vue is a progressive framework. The progressive means you put VueJS and then you make your application even better by step. It doesn't force you to do everything at once, but you can put your VueJS into your application and then you can make it even better. And Vue is much smaller, and at that time it was much more faster, and it is easy to learn when compared to Vue with the alternatives like React or Angular. You will see that Vue is much more simple to learn. And it also has a great ecosystem and the community, which is Vue is the really growing library over the years. So it is actually really great ecosystem and the community. And you may remember that there was some licensing issues around React. So so there was no license issues with Vue itself. So that was another decision point for us, because we released community version, community edition, and the enterprise edition. So it has to be licensed. It doesn't have to be license issues. How do we use Vue? We use Vuex for state management. And Vuex state management, this is the chart of the Vuex state management. So the left on the green Vue component dispatches an action and it goes to the yellow action circle. And then this action talks with the backend API. And then it fetches the data, it updates the stuff. And then it commits a mutation, goes to this red circle. And then this red circle do some changes on the data and comes to this purple circle. And then the state change, and when state change, the Vue component re-render itself, and that's the cycle of the Vuex. That's the best practice of Vuex, and we are following this diagram. And the thing is, we create standalone, I will say, single-page application like smart components. I want to show you this. Yes, this is the merge request page. I showed the screenshot before. And this yellow box is actually a Vue component. And this is also another Vue component. And this tree on the right-hand side, those are basically the Vue components. So in this page, we have multiple Vue components, but the rest of the page is still HAML, still jQuery stuff. So how we do is the server just renders an empty placeholder, which is a div, into page with an ID, for example, div ID merge request widget. And then we write the Vue code, Vue component, which will take over that div and render itself there. And for example, this is actually another Vue component on the discussion, on the changes tab. And in that component, we also have these discussions as another Vue component. And the discussion counter on top of the page, where it will say 2 of 2 discussions resolved. When you add a new discussion into that conversation below, you will see that the counter goes to 2 of 3 discussions resolved, because you added a new discussion, so it has to be 2 of 3 discussions resolved, because it's not resolved yet. The way we do is, as you can see that the component below, which is a discussion component, and the component above shares some data between them. So to be able to do that, we use Vuex modules. As you can see here, we have the nodes on line 5, nodes module, and the line 6 divs module. We combine them together, so we know that which nodes, which discussions can be rendered, should be rendered on the divs. So that's how we know how we combine the data and how we share data between two separate components. We use single file components, but without style tag. The reason is GitLab is an ongoing project, and we have a lot of SCSS files in somewhere in our code base, and we didn't mix up these we didn't want to mix up this new styling on the single file components and also the regular SCSS file. So for single source of truth, we said that, okay, we will not use style tag in single file components, but if we're gonna change the styling, if we're gonna add the styling for that component, we will add it into the SCSS files. We build new things with Vue, and we only refactor or rewrite the old parts only when needed. If we are making a new feature, it will definitely be written with Vue. And if we say that, okay, this feature, we are planning to build a new feature on top of the existing feature, and at that time we say that, okay, it's time to rewrite this one with Vue, and then we build new feature on top of that. Okay, so what is the outcome? We started to write less code because Vue is reactive enough. So we created the components, so we reused them, and we started to write less code. Less code means hopefully less bugs, and then the bugs were easier to fix because our logic was only in the component, not in the template, or it was not. It was just the logic. You just update the data, and Vue takes care of the rest. So you don't need to find this form element or do this or do that. You just change the data, and Vue knows how to re-render the template. And again, we started to have reusable components. And for example, the discussions. We started to reuse these discussions on the issues, and also the merge request, and also the merge request discussions. So we started to have components where we can use across all GitLab. And also Vue allowed us to start working on real-time updates much sooner. It is because, as I mentioned, that you just fetch the data, you got the new, let's say someone edited a new discussion while you working or look into an issue. Someone edited a new comment, and then when we get the data, all we need to do is just to push the new comment into the comments array, and we will re-render it on the page. So that was basically the thing. So we just pull the new data and put it into the array. So we started to have the real-time updates. For example, if an discussion result, all you need to do is find that discussion ID, discussion in the store, and update the result from false to true, and we will show that the discussion is resolved. So that was really easy for us to do the real-time changes. Let's a little bit talk about the feature plans of GitLab, how we will do it, what we will do. First, we will focus on making it faster. And then we are already doing, and we will planning to do more. We are planning to make it more reusable. We will create more reusable components and use them all across the GitLab. That's why we are creating a design system called GitLab UI, where we'll have the, for example, commonly used components. For example, pagination, loading, all those kind of stuff. Another thing we want to do is we try to create a better tooling to optimize our workflow and automate things, because in a really big companies like 400 and even more people works on the project, if you automate something which will save you a minute in a day, which will save a huge amount of time for the company. And we also think to expand front-end team by hiring new engineers. And we also, not the front-end team, we plan to expand GitLab by hiring new engineers and all the other positions. So GitLab is an open source project, so everyone can contribute. And there is a link to community contribution guide, and there's a screenshot of the accepting merge requests, which we have, I think, more than 4,000 issues which we accepting contribution from you. So it should be really easy for you to start working, finding an issue which will be easy enough to get started as your first contribution. And join GitLab. We are hiring in a very different positions: development, security, support, and currently we have, like, I'm not sure, maybe 50 or 60 different positions open. And that was it. Thank you.